Hi guys, here's a quick video to help you guys get ready for your Module 18 test on solving equations. Just a quick review of some stuff we covered in the past here. When you're solving an equation, you're trying to find the value of the variable that will make the equation true. And true means the left side is equal to the right side. Okay, so we're trying to find out what number, and this one has to be the same as that number for n, that is going to make the left side of the equation equal to the right side of the equation. All right, so our main goal is, well, before I get to that, we got to know that this is called a variable term. This is called a variable term, obviously, because it's 9n and 7n. This term here, plus 12 and minus 10, those are called constant terms. All right, so our goal is to get the variables on one side of the equation and the constant terms on the other side of the equation. It doesn't matter which. You could put the variables on the left side, you could put the variables on the right side, you could put the constants on the left or right. They just have to be on the opposite sides of each other here. All right, so the goal is to get my 7n and 9n to kind of work together so they are one term here on one side here. All right, the trick I always use when you have variables on both sides of the equation, both sides mean here's my equal sign, there's a left side, there's a 7n on the left side and a 9n on the right side, is I always try to get rid or move the smaller one, all right? So I have 7n and 9n, I want to move this one to the other side of the equation, all right, and get them together so I can combine them, all right? So since I have a 7n here, I want to make a zero pair, so to zero that out, I need to subtract 7n from the left side of the equation, okay? If I subtract 7n from the left side of the equation, to balance it out, I have to subtract 7n from the right side of the equation, okay? So my new equation, after taking away 7n's from both sides, you can see those would make 0, negative 7n and positive 7n. All I would have left on this side is 12, positive 12, okay? On this side, I had 9n, I take away 7n, I now have 2n left, but don't forget I also have my minus 10 to go along, okay? So I'm down to one variable, that's good, but I still have a constant on both sides of the equation, all right? So I want to get my constants over here on this side, all right? So I definitely need to get rid of this minus 10 here. And just like we did here, we're going to use the opposite operation here. Since this is a subtraction of 10, to zero that out, we are going to add 10 to the right side of the equation, okay? That creates a nice zero pair here. But we got to remember, whatever we do to one side, we better do to the other side. So if I add 10 to the right side, I got to add 10 to the left side, okay? So now I have 12 plus 10, which is obviously 22, okay? And my new equation, the only thing left on this side is 2n, okay? So we met our goal. We have a variable on this side and a constant on the other. Now, this is not 1n, so we're not done yet, all right? So I know that 2n is equal to 22, so I want to know what 1n is equal to, so I have to divide both sides by 2. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. 2 divided by 2, that gives me 1n. We could just kind of cross those out. Really, 1n just means n, and we get n equals 11, okay? And if you want to check it on your own, if we say n is 11, you do 7 times 11 plus 12. And whatever you get there better be equal to what we get on this side, 9 times 11 minus 10. Okay? And I believe they both sides would come out to be 89. Okay? Okay, maybe this will help you. Here's the exact same problem again. We looked at this in class earlier in the year. All right, this is called the sorting method. It's very similar to what we just did. We should get the same result here. That's when you just take all of the variables, move them to one side, and all of the constants, and you move them to one side. And the rule is when you change sides, you change signs, all right? I always like to just put my variables on the left side and my constants on the right side. Okay, sorting here. So my 7n is already on the left side, so I'm just going to bring it down, okay? And I want to get my 9n over to this side. Since it's on the right side, I want to move it to the left side. So remember the rule is when you change sides, you change signs. So 9n, if I move it to this side, becomes a minus 9n, okay? Okay, on this side, I want my constants. I already have a minus 10 on this side, so I'm just going to drop that down, okay? Now my 12, my plus 12 is on the left side. I want to move it to the right side. So remember, when you change you change sides, you change signs. So right now this is a plus 12. It becomes a minus 12 on this side. Okay, here's my equal sign. So I got my two variables together. I have my two constants together. I can now combine them. 7n minus 9n, that gives me negative 2n, okay? On this side, I have a negative 10 and a minus 12. If I add those two together, negative 10 minus 12, I get negative 22. Okay, it looks a little different than the last time we did it, but you should end up with the same solution here. So now since n is being multiplied by negative 2, we divide both sides by negative 2. Okay, and just like it did in the last example, those cancel and we get n equals, and we learned that a negative divided by a negative is always a positive. All right, and that would be positive 11. All right, same answer we got when we did this one here. All right, just a little bit different how to show your work. All right, so let's do one more example together real quick here. Most of my students always like the sorting method a little better here. All right, so I'm going to do this real quick here. All right, I want to get my variables on this side. So my negative 2e is already here, so I'm just going to drop her down. Okay, that's a constant, so I'm not going to worry about that yet. This is a variable term, and it's already on the left side, so I'm just going to drop her down, okay? And this is a constant, so I'm not going to worry about it yet. Over on the right side, I have a positive 70. I want to move it to this side, so remember, when we change sides, we change signs. So this is a positive 70. We move it over here, it becomes a minus 70, okay? On this side now, I want my constants, all right? I already have a minus 12, so I'm going to drop the negative 2, so negative 12, all right? On this side, I had a positive 6 and a minus 10. So I got to move them to the other side, so we got to change their sign. Don't forget that. So plus 6, if I move it to the other side, becomes minus 6. And my negative 10 on the left side becomes plus 10. Okay? Okay, now the rest is pretty easy. We just combine our terms here. So I have negative 2e plus 5e. Okay? That gives me 3e, right? Negative 2 plus 5 is 3. And then 3 minus 7 would give me negative 4. Don't forget to attach the e to it. All right? So that would be negative 4e when I combine all three of those. Okay? Let's combine my constants. A negative 12 and a minus 6, that would be negative 18. Okay? Negative 18. And then we add positive 10. That would be negative 8. Okay? And since I don't have 1e, I got one more step. I want to get a 1 here, so I have to divide both sides by negative 4. And we get e, after my negatives 4's cancel, a negative divided by a negative is a positive 2, okay? So that's how we handle variables on both sides. I hope that helped.